Hello, this is Bruno Pelletier-bacquaert, and today we are going to discuss a very easy and useful voicing. It's also known as a quartal voicing. So let me show it to you and we'll talk about it. So here's the chord. Okay, so there's 4 notes. But that's not why we call it quartal. So it's called quartal simply because the interval between each and every note is of a fourth. In this case, even a perfect fourth. See, E to A is a perfect fourth. A to D is a perfect fourth. And D to G is also a perfect fourth. So we have nothing but fourths in this chord, which is unusual because traditionally chords, as we know them and as we name them, are built by stacking up thirds. For instance, if you're looking at a simple C major chord, C, E, and G, those notes are stacked up thirds. C to E is a third, E to G is a third. And if I even continue with another third on top of that, I'll end up with a seventh. So in this case, I could have a C, E, G, B, which would be a C major seventh, right? But going back to the voicing I was showing you earlier, E, A, D, G, it sounds great, but we can't really name it, at least not the traditional way, right? Because this chord, out of context, is not really a major chord, it's not a minor chord. It's not even a sus chord, really, even though, there's a fourth. Well, there's more than one fourth in it. So we need to find another way. So this is a chord, actually, that's going to be used primarily as an upper structure, meaning we'll use the structure of the chord, those 4 notes, but then we'll put a different bass note underneath. So let's explore that. So if I'm looking at this chord, let's put a C note in the bass. So now we have a chord that probably we've seen before, but also that's sounding like some kind of major type chord. So let's see exactly what we have. So if I'm using C as the root, in relation to that C, let's name the notes that we have. So E, that's the perfect. No, it's not perfect. It's a major third. C to E is a major third. Then A, that's the 6th. C to D, that's the 9th. And C to G, that's the perfect 5th. All right, so we have then a C 6-9. Okay, nice sounding chord. Anytime you have some kind of a tonic C major chord, that would be a nice chord to use, a 6-9. Okay, what else? We could put a G note instead of the C bass. So it's going to give us this. Equally nice sounding major type chord. In this case, it's going to be a G 6-9. So let's look at the notes we have. So all in relation to the G bass, right? So we have E, which is the 6th. We have A, which is the 9th of G, right? We have D, which is the perfect 5th of G, and then another G on top. So we're simply doubling the root. So it's the same chord that we just played from C. However, there's no third in it, right? You're noticing it still sounds like some kind of a G major type chord, but there's no third in it. And there's the root that's being doubled. But, one way or another, it's still a very nice sounding 6-9 chord. All right, so let's recap. From this area, we have 2 potential bass notes. One bass note that could be on the 6th string, that would be a G 6-9, or a bass note that would be on the 5th, that would be a C 6-9. Okay, that's not all. Based on that, it's telling us then if I want to build a 6/9 chord, I actually have two potential roots for it. Like say I want to play a G 6/9. So we already saw the G bass here, but on the 5th string, I have a G as well, right? So all I have to do then is build my same grip, but connected with where I played the root note. And visually, it's very easy to spot because as you could see in both cases, whether the root is on the 6th or the 5th string, the bass note is exactly in front of where the two high notes are, right? So here the two high notes, the D and the G, are on the 3rd fret. Well, so are the potential bass notes. So if I'm looking at a bass note here on the G that is here on the 5th string, well, I make it lined up with my voicing. Here we go. Or I should say I line up my voicing with the bass note that I have. Okay, so then I have two different places for a G 6/9. Here with this root, and here with this root. All right, let's do the same thing with the C 6/9 that I had already here. So now my bass note, the C, was on the 5th string. Well, I have the exact same bass note now on the 6th string. So all I have to do to play my other C 6/9 is line it up with the root here. So I have then this C 6/9 and this C 6/9, right? So for any one of my chords, I can move the same exact grip. That's the easy part. That's exactly the same grip that I'm moving up the fretboard. All right, so, but that's not all, because check this out. Let's go back to the G chord that I had in the first place here, right? I am going to be able to move my voicing as is up a whole step and still call it G. So if I'm still sounding my G bass, I have this chord or that chord. Why is that so? Well, let's look at the notes we get here in relation to a G bass. Well, this would be F sharp. That would be the major 7th. And this is B, which is the major 3rd. So right off the bat, I'm looking at a very common shape for a G major 7 chord. I have two important chord tones for the G major 7, the 3rd and the 7th. So there you go. So that's clearly a G7. And the other two notes, well, E is, now here's the thing, E is not the 6th anymore, it's the 13th. Why? Why was I calling it the 6th a minute ago, and why am I calling it now the 13th? Any idea? Okay, I'll tell you. Simply because I have a 7th. So if I have a 7th in a chord, whether it's a minor 7th for a dominant chord or a major 7th for the major 7 chord that I have, the 7th is a chord tone. So it means it takes precedence. It has priority over the other notes. The 6th is only a chord tone if there's no 7th. But if there is a 7th, then the 6th is considered a color or an extension. So we need to think of it as +7, meaning 6 plus 7, that's the 13th. Same thing with the 2nd, the 4th. So the 2nd plus 7 would be the 9th of the chord. And the 4th plus 7th would be the 11th of the chord. That's, but you probably already know that. So in this case, this is why this chord has to be called a major 7th, 13th, and no longer the 6th. And then the other note, the A, that was the 9th. So I have two chord tones, the 3rd and the major 7th, and then two colors, the 9th and the 13th. And this chord, if I'm playing it as a full grip, So I could play it with the thumb. You know, if you like the thumb, feel free to use that. I could do it like this. So here in this case, I'm playing the bass with the first finger. I'm barring my second finger over the fourth and third string, and then the third finger is on the second string, and the fourth finger is on the first string. That's one way to do it. Other ways to do that would be, well, I just did the same thing. Okay, this, like this. That's another easy way to play the chord. So now I'm playing still the first finger on the bass, second finger on the fourth string, third finger on the third string, and my pinky is barring the first and the second string. And that way, the advantage is I'm dampening, for all those chords, I'm dampening the fifth string because I don't want to hear it. It's not part of the chord. So if you strum, that way you can get only the notes you want. Okay, so again, for the G major, I have this and this in relation to this G bass note. There's more. My other G chord, remember, was up here. That was my other G69. Well, guess what? I'm going to move that same chord, that same grip, up a whole step, just like I did here. Let's see the notes we get. So here, so now let me play the G bass. So this is still going to be some sort of a G major chord. I can see the B, which is the major third, and the F sharp, which is the major 7, right? But now, so those are the two chord tones that I have on top of the G, but now I have a C sharp. So the C sharp, I'm going to think of it as a sharp 11th. And the E is still the 13th that I had. So what I'm really looking at is some sort of the Lydian voicing. I have two colors that are found in a Lydian scale. So the sharp 4 and the major 13th. Okay, so there again I have a nice blend of two important chord tones, the major 7th and the 3rd. And then two colors, in this case the sharp 11 and the 13th, and then here the 9th and the 13th. So it's giving me 4 potential places for the same G major sound, you know, whether it's 6/9 or major 7. So okay, all those places. So if you have a section in a tune where you're trying to play some different voicings for the same G major chord, well, that's it. You have all those potential chords. And what else? Well, I could show you the same voicing in the middle strings, because what I was doing so far, I was playing that voicing on the top 4 strings here, E, A, D, G. But I could use the same chord here, E, A, D, G. Okay, same exact notes, but now I'm using the middle 4 strings. So the grip is a little different. I'm using either the first 2 fingers or the first and third finger, doesn't matter. Right, so you can move the grip the same way. What actually can be interesting is if you, let's say I'm playing around a G major in this area, right? So remember I have this, but now I'm going to play the same grip that I was playing up there. In this case it's actually down an octave, but on the middle 4 strings in the same area. Now, one thing I want to point out, if I'm playing this, so I have B, E, A, and D. If I'm playing this on top of the G, it might be a bit muddy because, you know, it's getting kind of low here. So oftentimes, even though I'm thinking of the same grip, I might just play the top 3 notes of that chord. avoiding that B note, which might sound a bit muddy. So I have this. So same thing with this next chord. Instead of playing the C sharp here, I'll play the top 3 notes, and then now move to the top 4 strings. Right? So it's really easy in terms of grips, because I'm just visualizing the same thing, you know, the same grip that I'm moving up a whole step, up and down, literally. All this for the G chord. And the same thing could happen here. Right? So here I'm just staying with my middle 4 strings, or, you know, top 3. Well, in this case, you can use all 4 strings because it's not as high, so it's not as muddy in this case, right? So that same little business you can play in relation to this G bass or that G bass, right? So that's I think that's about all I wanted to discuss with this really fancy. Well, not fancy. It's fancy in terms of what you can do with it, but it's an easy grip, and it's easy to play. And actually, we had seen this chord in a previous video that was last year, and I'll put a link. That was part of the voicings that we could generate from the pentatonic. I was showing you an A minor pentatonic, and we were seeing those very grips, you know, twice. Actually, when you harmonize the pentatonic scale, you're going to have, you know, if you're looking at an A minor 7, so after it and below it, you're going to find that same grip twice. Then the other chords, they're not really quartal voicings anymore. We have this voicing and this voicing, and then it repeats again. But I'm not going to show them to you again, since they are in this other video that I was talking about. So you may want to look at it. There was some really interesting voicings. And I guess I could also show you this little thing that I saw Joe Pass do once. I was lucky to see him play a solo concert. This was in the late 80s. That's a while back. And those of you who've seen Joe Pass, or if you've even seen video, you might have noticed that he likes to play dumb. You know, he likes to be goofy and playing jokes. And he likes to pretend that he doesn't know what he's doing, yet he really does know what he's doing. And he played the song Green Dolphin Street. And, you know, he started playing, oh, I'm going to play a really easy tune. It's easy. There's only 1 chord in it. And there he is. He, you know, proceeds to play the melody of Green Dolphin Street, using that very same voicing that we've been discussing today. So, well, it's usually played in C or E flat, but let me play it in some higher keys so that I don't have to move the voicing. Okay, I think it would work if I played in F. So the melody in F would be this. Okay, so that's on Green Dolphin Street, right? So what Joe Pass did, he played this melody using this very grip and moving it up and down the neck. So like this. Just have to think about what the notes are, because I'm moving the same chord chromatically. Right? So that's a simple way to harmonize the melody, is simply using the same grip. Right? So you could experiment with that. And you know what? I guess I'll do a video. In fact, next one of the next videos, I'll show you a way to harmonize this song. That would be a nice solo guitar thing. Okay, I think I'm going to stop. This video is getting a little longer than I meant it, that I wanted it to be. So let's stop right there. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, please. It seems kind of nice. I wish I had a little more subscribers on this, but hey, we're doing what we can. So keep up with the questions. Also, let me know what you think, and spread the word. All right.